Behind the scenes, writers were in a state of panic, directors expanded camera shots, and Carson felt the sweat under his collar. Yet not every tension resulted in distance. Some burned intensely and closely, like that of Don Rickles. Rickles did not merely push boundaries, he bulldozed them. He would insult the audience, Carson, and even other guests with reckless abandon, and Carson admired him for it most of the time. In 1976, Rickles guest hosted and broke Carson's cherished cigarette box. No apology, no acknowledgement. The following night, Carson paused the taping and stormed across the lot to confront Rickles on the set of CPO Sharkey, brandishing the broken box. This moment became viral before the term viral even existed. It was television gold. In every tense pause and awkward smile, there was a master balancing the weight of legends, transforming discomfort into laughter, betrayal into ratings, and chaos into calm. That was Johnny Carson's true magic. Not merely making people laugh, but doing so while navigating a tightrope of egos and expectations. Therefore, the next time you revisit a classic clip from The Tonight Show, remember that every smile concealed a story, and every pause harbored a storm. If you appreciated this glimpse behind the curtain, please like, share, and subscribe for more untold legends of entertainment. Eventually, he turned and exited. Carson sat in stunned silence. That evening, Newton's name was omitted from the monologue. The audacious host, known for taking jabs at anyone, opted for silence. It was not fear that held him back, but understanding. Newton was not merely a guest seeking airtime. He was a man of influence, and Carson recognized when to step aside. No rivalry, however, cut deeper than that with Joan Rivers. She was not just a guest. She was Carson's chosen successor, a friend, and his reliable substitute host. She had appeared on the show nearly 100 times. Yet in 1986, FOX presented her with an opportunity for her own show, a groundbreaking late-night program with complete creative control. Rivers accepted the offer but failed to inform Carson. He learned of it through the news. When she called, Carson chose not to answer and hung up. Her name was subsequently removed from booking lists. She was blacklisted. Carson felt a sense of betrayal, not due to her ambition, but because of her silence. They never communicated again. Even when Jay Leno took over, the rift persisted. It was not until Jimmy Fallon that Rivers finally made her return to The Tonight Show, nearly 30 years later. The timing, the energy, the tempo, everything came to a halt. Carson attempted to engage in playful banter, even showcasing sneakers in Rogers' honor. However, Mr. Rogers responded not with humor, but with genuine warmth. Sneakers can instill a sense of readiness to play. There was no punchline, no laughter, just pure kindness. Eventually, he insisted that Hope's appearances be accompanied by music or lively guests, anything to rekindle the spark after the scripted routine. Then there was Charlton H., who remained silent. Carson would pose a simple question, such as, "Did you ever get hurt filming those chariot scenes?" H. would embark on a 5-minute journey through childhood, Shakespeare, and the nobility of danger. The payoff, if it came, was delayed. Even off-camera, H. lectured, quoted historical texts, and transformed casual conversation into philosophical debates. Carson endeavored to keep things light, but H. brought the weight of history with him. His political beliefs, particularly his outspoken support of the NRA, introduced a silent tension that Carson preferred to avoid. He sought entertainment. Producers reduced H's airtime, cut lengthy stories, and managed him quietly as if it were a diplomatic mission. However, some guests did not come to converse. They came to confront. Enter Wayne Newton, Las Vegas royalty, with millions tied to his public image. When Carson began making jokes about Newton's appearance and flamboyant style, Newton did not laugh it off. He seethed. Then in 1980, he stormed into NBC studios unannounced, walked into Carson's office and declared, "You ever call me a joke again? I'll show you the punchline." The energy, the timing, the tempo, everything came to a halt. Carson attempted to engage in lighthearted banter, even showcasing sneakers in honor of Roger. However, Mr. Rogers did not respond with humor. Instead, he offered genuine warmth. Sneakers can instill a sense of readiness to play. There was no punchline, no laughter, just pure kindness. Behind the scenes, writers were in a state of panic. Directors expanded camera angles, and Carson felt the sweat forming under his collar. And although it was not a segment filled with laughter, it was certainly a memorable one. If Fred Rogers interrupted Johnny Carson with sincerity, Bob Hope tested his patience with scripted control. Hope never came to converse. He arrived with cards, punchlines, and a branded agenda. Carson, a master of spontaneity, found himself relegated to feeding lines to a guest who gazed past him, awaiting the next setup. During one particular show, Hope mentioned Texaco 3 times within 10 minutes, prompting Carson to quip, "Texaco gets more airtime than I do." The timing, the energy, the tempo, everything came to a halt. Carson attempted to engage in playful banter, even showcasing sneakers in Rogers' honor. However, Mr. Rogers responded not with humor, but with genuine warmth. Sneakers can help us feel prepared to play. There was no punchline, no laughter, just pure kindness. Behind the scenes, writers were in a state of panic. Directors widened camera shots, and Carson felt the sweat under his collar. Yet beneath the laughter lay visible frustration. NBC cherished Hope for his ratings and legacy, but Carson was weary. He longed for authentic moments and fresh energy. Suddenly, Sinatra appeared on stage, wrapped his arm around Johnny, and basked in 40 seconds of thunderous applause. Carson, seemingly unfazed, remarked with a smirk, "Do you need the whole show, Frank?" Sinatra coolly responded, "Only until the band packs up." For the audience, it was pure magic. For Carson, it was a subtle power play. Then came Chevy Chase with his sharp sarcasm and smug demeanor, who clashed with Carson almost immediately. His jokes felt less like entertainment and more like challenges. Unlike Sinatra's commanding presence, Chase exuded an arrogance that Carson perceived not only as annoying, but also as a threat to his reign. From sharp sarcasm to utter stillness, Fred Rogers entered the scene as the most unexpected disruptor of all. Unlike Chase, Rogers was devoid of ego. He brought a sincerity so genuine that it completely disarmed Carson. When Rogers stepped onto The Tonight Show, he did not seek applause or deliver jokes. He simply stated, "Thank you very much, friends. I'm very glad to be here." The timing, the energy, the tempo, everything came to a halt. Carson attempted to engage in playful banter, even showcasing sneakers in Rogers' honor. But Mr. Rogers replied not with humor, but with genuine warmth. Sneakers can evoke a sense of readiness to play. There was no punchline, no laughter, just pure kindness. Behind the scenes, writers were in a state of panic. Directors expanded camera shots, and Carson felt the sweat under his collar. It was an awkward moment, yet something unusual occurred the following day. Hundreds of letters flooded into the show's mailroom, filled with gratitude from parents and fans who were moved by Rogers' gentle presence. Johnny Carson was the most prominent star among American movie and rock stars. I believe no one surpassed Johnny in fame, as he appeared night after night, reigning as the undisputed king of late-night television. He was adored by millions for his charm, wit, and effortless coolness. However, behind that iconic smile, Johnny Carson maintained a list of names that left a lingering bitterness, even decades later. From unexpected walk-ons to backstage outbursts, these guests not only ruffled feathers but also pushed Carson to his limits. Now at the age of 79, he discloses the 8 celebrities he found intolerable, and some revelations may surprise you, showcasing who transformed the calmest man on television into a tempest behind the scenes. Stay tuned for late-night drama like you have never experienced before. Behind the dazzling lights of The Tonight Show, not every guest received applause upon entering the stage or departed with a smile. Johnny Carson, the epitome of composure and timing, faced his share of behind-the-scenes conflicts, clashes that remained concealed from the millions of viewers at home. Some guests did not merely disrupt the flow, they completely altered the rhythm, and few did so quite like Frank Sinatra. Unlike most celebrities who arrived with gratitude and humility, Sinatra entered like royalty. His team would prepare the studio even before his arrival, adjusting temperatures, bringing in special teleprompters, and even reserving seats for his entourage. Carson, who valued structure and predictability, understood he had to relinquish some control whenever Sinatra was on set. While he maintained a smile for the cameras, backstage he would pour himself an extra drink and mutter sarcastic remarks such as, "Chairman of the board." However, I still signed the checks. An unforgettable moment occurred in 1976 when Carson was presenting his opening monologue.